Joining us now, Seton Motley of lessgovernment.org. Less government because we need less of it. First of all, I want to take you through these words as Seton comes on by David Karp, one of the simplest and main arguments for net neutrality, which is upon us. The sword of Damocles is dropped. You're the Damocles. The main argument for net neutrality, so-called, is that these companies are monopolies. But it is important to remember some things at core. And at core, it is helpful to remember, no matter the case, no matter the incident, that competition is always good for us. It is always good. There is never an instance in which decreased competition is good for the consumer. Never. Not ever. Not once. Ever. And this is about drastically, violently decreasing competition. Am I right? Seton Motley of lessgovernment.org. Welcome back to the show, by the way, Seton, and explain what's going on, when, how, and what, if anything, we can do about it this late.
Well, call your congressmen, your senators, and there's things that Congress can do to rein in the FCC with budget alterations and other things, and some of them will pretend that they can't do very much, but they actually they can do some serious damage to the FCC if they wanted to. So that's what I would suggest. The interesting about Mr. Karp is 4 months ago, give or take, the FCC's order, which they were still processing and all that, we haven't seen it. We still haven't seen it. They won't release it until after they vote on it tomorrow. But from all indications, it was much less, I mean, it was bad, but it was much less bad than it is currently. Right after the election, when America obviously demonstrated a desire for much more government, President Obama came out with a video and basically demanded of the FCC that they enact the strongest possible rules. Well, first of all, the FCC is supposed to be independent so it doesn't get swayed by politics and relies on science and technology and facts. Well, the president dropped this bomb. Then all of a sudden, the chairman's order became a much worse proposition. It involved not just, okay, the last mile is your house and my house to the ISP. Then there's these interconnections, and this is why the head of Tumblr, David Karp, who's now the head of Yahoo, wants the expanded rules that the chairman is now proposing. They're going to mess with interconnection fees. What that means is Comcast and Time Warner and the other internet service providers have to connect with the big web bandwidth hogs, like Tumblr, like Yahoo, like Netflix, not like YouTube. The new rules will regulate those negotiations and basically make it illegal for the internet service provider to charge the bandwidth hogs for being bandwidth hogs. So, of course, David Karp wants the government to step in because it's going to make his business model effectively zero outlay no matter how much bandwidth they use. Now, the problem with that is, from a free market perspective, is the ISP can only charge one of two people. They can charge the bandwidth hogs or they can charge us. So if they can't charge the bandwidth hogs by regulatory fiat, our prices go up. So we're going to pay dramatically more for internet service to augment the profits of Netflix and Google's YouTube and Tumblr and Yahoo. Now, this order has been expanded dramatically after the president's declaration. What happened just before Obama's net declaration? He had a meeting with a bunch of pro-net neutrality, pro-regulatory advocates. Seated next to him, by chance, was Tumblr CEO David Karp. So the Wall Street Journal reports that David Karp had president's ear throughout the meeting, and then David Karp's suggestions made it to the White House's shadow FCC, which was drafting the new order, which is now allegedly now the chairman's order. So David Karp almost single-handedly made the order worse. And then yesterday he went on TV and just demonstrated just how incredibly little he knows about what he's just done to the Internet and how it works.
It does seem remarkable to me that business seemed to have done what it wanted to do, and now the government is sort of getting into it for seemingly no reason. In fact, it seems to me as if they're having difficulty convincing the American people, as if we needed convincing and weren't perfectly happy to be ruled by fiat under the crown, that this is important or useful or necessary to anyone but the president's quote-unquote supporters, cha-ching.
Right, exactly right. This is a solution running around in search of a problem. One of the clips you played, you saw. I think you clipped it out where they asked him, because, well, where is this happening? See, the net neutrality proponents' claim is, for instance, Comcast merged with NBC. So the claim would be Comcast will block you from going to CBS.com and ABC.com because they want you to go to NBC.com because they own it. Where is that happening? When is that happening? And they can't cite an example. David Karp was asked, where is this happening? And he cited one example from 2007, which was a Comcast slowing down a website called BitTorrent, which, by the way, is an illegal website. They steal movies and music and give it away on this website. And they were getting so much traffic that Comcast slowed it down. Now, without regulations of any sort, like what they're going to do tomorrow, this was solved by the free market. There was no government involvement. They figured it out and solved it all by themselves. There has not been a single example since 2007. In the intervening years, the FCC has twice tried to impose network neutrality regulations and twice been unanimously rebuked by the D.C. Circuit Court saying you don't have the authority. So we've had two attempts at net neutrality in the last 7 years, and zero net neutrality violations in the last 7 years. So there is no example in the private sector of this happening. But they're going to do it anyway. What this is, net neutrality is a ruse. It's a storyline dreamed up by the pro-government regulatory forces to try to engender some support for increased government regulation in the sector. Now, you're right. I'm having arguments with fellow net neutrality opponents who say that this demonstrates that we lost the messaging war on net neutrality. And I'm saying, how does this demonstrate we lost? They've wanted this for 12 years. They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get it done. And now in Obama's last year and a half in office, he's jamming it through by fiat by 3 unelected Democrat bureaucrats. 3 polls since the election have shown that they don't want the American people don't want increased regulation of the Internet. I'm not sure how another Obama fiat demonstrates a loss of messaging power by the free market proponents, by the anti-net neutrality proponents. We didn't lose this fight on any grounds other than we have an autocratic jerk as a president who's going to jam it through despite the American people's opposition to it.
Forbes magazine released this. The Federal Communications Commission is scheduled to vote to make broadband providers the equivalent of common carrier telephone companies. That includes, naturally, ladies and gentlemen, all of that regulation. Anybody providing broadband to consumers would be required to treat all packets roughly the same and barred from speeding up or slowing traffic down according to their own commercial priorities. Well, that doesn't sound bad. The problem is the Internet doesn't work this way. Even one of the 3 Democratic-appointed commissioners who is expected to vote for the so-called net neutrality rules is balking at the sweep of Tom Wheeler's proposed regulations, saying that they should not include broadband subscriber access service or the connections at the other end of the pipe, the companies that Netflix use to put their content on the web. The dispute within the Democratic ranks illustrates just how complicated a task it is to impose telephone-like regulation on a network of networks that functions more like a combination of the U.S. Postal Service and every other method of getting a package from one place to another. What's really remarkable to me, Seaton, is what a boondoggle this is. What a gargantuan, Brobdingnan, elephantine effort this is, whose function really seems only to please a few, may we say it, Democrat donors. This is it. This is something the president is doing for his wealthiest friends, and it will affect every single American on an issue about which we have spoken and about whom nobody cares. Nobody cares that we've spoken. Nobody cares to know what we want. Nobody cares about access to service. Nobody seems to care about what it will cost us or how it will interfere with the cost with business and the way we use internet in our homes. It's just it's rather as if we're giving a big legal bailout to some people without a court case and without any reason to do so and without the will of the people. So is anybody going to capitalize on this in Washington and start making sense of it to the American people and saying, well, I'm Joe Schmagegi and I disagree with this. The president's out of control here. Do you see any hope for that happening?
Well, the House Communications and Technology Subcommittee just had a hearing, and of course the Democrats, Anna Eshoo and Frank Pallone, were rolling their eyes throughout and saying what a waste of time this meeting was and all that. But you're right. I wish someone in Washington would acknowledge what happened at the November election. I will admit that net neutrality was not a major issue in the November elections. However, it's hard to look at the results of the November election and say the American people voted for dramatically more government. Tough takeaway.
Seaton Motley, by the way, lessgovernment.org, lessgovernment.org.